What's up, everybody? Today I want to talk about Trover Saves the Universe, released in 2019 for the PC and PlayStation 4. Now, the first question that we have to ask is, what exactly is Trover Saves the Universe? And essentially, the game is an exploration adventure game featuring the comedy of Justin Roiland. I just have to give this disclaimer right off the bat, but if you're not a fan of Rick and Morty or accounting, this game is not for you. And when I say that, I truly mean it. This game's sense of comedy is extremely over the top. And I even felt uncomfortable a couple times playing it. There's some weird fetishes in there. Okay, now that I've given my disclaimer, let's talk about the gameplay. Right off the bat, when you start playing Trover Saves the Universe, you need to be sitting in a chair. You cannot be standing while you're playing the game, or you'll look down and see a disembodied corpse. The other half of this is that you should not use traditional VR controllers. You should be using a PlayStation or Xbox controller to get the true experience. Now, this might seem strange at first, but once you start playing, you realize it's quite fluent. I myself really enjoy the fact that we, the player, can look around the environment and interact with objects that are at the center of our vision. At the same time, Trover acts as a playable character, which can move around the environment, interact with objects, attack enemies, and allow us, the Cheropian, to warp to new locations. Really, when you get down to it, we, the character, are just a camera, and Trover is really doing 90% of the work.
No, my butthole's clenching! I'm too far from you!
As we progress throughout the game, you'll get upgrades. Trover's upgrades are very cut and dry. Typically, you run into a colorful person, talk to them for a bit, something funny happens, then you can glide or double jump or do something crazy. But we, the Cheropian, to get upgrades, they call them share upgrades, and they're given to us by spitting on us. If you'll excuse me, I need to go take a shower. The game also has collectible items, and they're called green power babies. And I think it's a form of meth for Trover. He really likes it. However, all it does is give him a health upgrade. Lastly, a really cool thing they included was yes or no answers during cutscenes. You'll have certain characters ask you, what do you think? You have to say yes by shaking your head up and down, or no by left and right. And you'll get unique responses every time. And I thought it was a really cool design choice.
Trover, Cheropian, what took you so long to get back here? What were you, playing with your ding-dong? Yes or no?
Guilty.
You were playing with your ding-dong. That's good. It's healthy, it's natural, it's hot, it's sexy.
All right, let's switch directions. Let's talk about the characters in Trover Saves the Universe. The first one that we have to talk about is Trover himself. And this character is really goofy. And he doesn't actually have eyes. He has power babies that inhabit his eyes and give him special powers. As we get upgrades, we get different power babies for his eyes. And he's really well acted. I really enjoy his character. Some of the dialogue that Justin Roiland gives for him is very unique, very out there. I loved it.
Hey, whoa, holy shit, there's a bunch of reruns of Golden Girls on right now out here! What Golden Girl reruns?
Next, we have the Cheropian, which is us, the player. When you look down, you can see a disfigured waist with legs holding a controller. With us being a Cheropian and Trover being a hole monster, it kind of opens up a avenue for racist jokes. At the very start of the game, they come out with this.
But what do you know about that? You're just a dirty Cheropian. I'm sorry for being spacist.
Our main antagonist in Trover Saves the Universe is Glorkon. Glorkon is an abstainer. An abstainer is almost like a god. They've been watching for a very long time, and up until now, they've chosen not to intervene. Some of the things that come out of Glorkon's mouth are just downright hilarious.
Some Glorkon clones, and I said, Go start it. There's a whole wing to this castle. Go start a studio, green screen, build sets, and make me some TV. And one of the first things they did was Klonfeld. I am getting sued up my ass right now for Klonfeld.
And then after that, there's just a slew of characters throughout the game. There's Mr. Pop-Up, Michael, there's Doopy, Voodoo Person, George, and many more. I absolutely love the writing in this game. So you know what? Let's get into the plot. Please be aware there are spoilers ahead. The game opens with a slight dream sequence, showing our two dogs kidnapped by Glorkon. Suddenly we awaken our house, watching TV. We then decide to listen to the answering machine, which yields interesting results, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. This is Jeff. Call me back. End of message.
Out of the blue, someone knocks on our door. We open the door to reveal it's Trover. Apparently Trover has been searching for us for quite some time. We learn that he's been looking for the one who owns the dogs that Glorkon stole. We decide to go with him. As we progress through the city, we learn that Glorkon has attacked a nearby science center. We then have to deal with an old man who claims that we're at fault. He recognizes the dogs in Glorkon's eyes and thinks that we're the one to be blamed. Unfortunately for him, this costs him his life.
I served 8 tours in the Civil Chair War.
Go for it, shit!
Fuck, shit, I'm dead. Shit, I think we just killed him. We need to get our story straight. He came at me with a knife, okay?
Once we reach the Science Center, we get to see 2 of Glorkon's melee clones.
Look at all the stuff I got. Yeah, I got stuff too.
Hey, what is all this stuff for?
I don't know.
Maybe it's just me, but they sound just like Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. Go figure. After we defeat the 2 clones, we make our way towards Trover's telepod. It's here that we get to meet Trover's boss, as well as the abstainers on a phone call. We learn that we need to meet the abstainers in person, and the only way to do that is to obtain a crystal of Ithacles. We then make our way to Schleemy World. It's here we meet Mr. Pop-Up, and Michael. I can't tell you how much I hate both these characters. Not only is Mr. Pop-Up annoying, but Michael is just straight up gross. As we progress, it's here that we get our first character upgrade for Trover. It allows him to double jump and glide. Unfortunately, we have to kill some animals in order to get it. It kind of leads to a bit of an altercation.
The ones you just killed are my domesticated pets. They're my friends. Well, Jesus, man, you gotta be a little more specific.
Once we reach the end of the level, we have to make a choice. We either have to kill Mr. Pop-Up or we kill Michael. It doesn't really matter which one we kill, we still get the Crystal of Ithacles. Once we kill one of them, we make our way back towards the ship, only to reveal that there's crystals literally everywhere. We really didn't have to kill one of them. We then make our way to the Abstainer Sanctum, where we meet the 3 bird-like figures that we saw in the hologram earlier. It's here they reveal that Glorkon was once one of them, and when the 4 of them were together, they could see every version of reality. However, now that he is left, they are blind. There is no way for the 3 of them to tell what Glorkon's plans are moving forward. However, they fear he will annihilate the universe.
Jeez, oh my god. That's bad. That's just bad stuff.
They then reveal that we have to collect the organs of the clones that he's made in order to find out what his plans are moving forward. We then depart and make our way to Shroomia World. After we arrive, we get to meet Doopy, who will be helping us to find out how we can collect the Glorkon clone guts. Doopy gives us the ability to move objects around the environment. You know what that means, right? Spit shine. Unfortunately, Doopy is more interested in trying to get us to help her move, rather than trying to help us actually save the universe, which is a huge waste of time. It wasn't until probably halfway into the puzzle I realized you can just take the boxes and get away from her and go into town and kill a whole bunch of Glorkon clones and make your way off the planet. Right before we're able to leave, she'll trap us and try and convince us to come back and help her move one last time. I didn't realize it, but you can actually push her off the cliff and kill her. I really wish I would have. We then make our way to Voodoo Person, who will help us enchant the guts that we've collected. Unfortunately, she needs something in return from us before she'll do that. She requests that we travel to a cursed village to free the tormented souls from their current captivity. We happily oblige. However, once we arrive at the village, it appears that all the inhabitants are quite happy. Maybe we're making a mistake. Either way, we have a job to do, so we murder them all. We then make our way back to Voodoo Person, who has completed the ritual on the guts that we collected. However, once we explain the village that we visited to her, she realizes that she gave us the wrong coordinates and that we just murdered a whole village of innocent people. We then depart, and as we travel, we are intercepted by Glorkon, who decides to steal back the guts that we have collected, and decides to leave us with the bomb. Unfortunately, we are unable to defuse the bomb. Luckily, Trover decides to improvise. We then arrive back at the Abstainers. They explain that because Glorkon intercepted us, we now know where his secret base is located. The 3 of them then explain that if we were able to reconnect Glorkon with them, it would likely take away all of his powers. However, they're not quite sure what will happen when we do this. It's never been attempted. The Abstainers then give us a new chair upgrade ability. Unfortunately, this involves another Spitshine. Yay! This gives us the ability to throw items in the environment, and it's quite handy. Right after we're given the ability, we then have to throw crystal power babies into the eyes of the Abstainers. This will connect the 2 of them, while one of them remains out of sync. It's kind of funny as you're leaving, you get to hear the 3rd one who's not connected. He sounds like he's drunk.
I'm all messed up back here. I'm all loopy as hell.
We then need to track down 4 more power crystal babies, 2 for the last Abstainer, and 2 for Glorkon himself. The first 2 reside on a planet called Flesh World. Cards on the table, this level makes me feel very uncomfortable. After we arrive at Flesh World, Trover gets an upgrade. It allows him to use a heavy attack to throw items up in the air. We can then use our new throw ability to throw those items at enemies. The heavy attack, in combination with the throwing ability, is the main mechanic of Flesh World, and it works really well. Unfortunately, after we arrive in Flesh World, we get to meet Gale, who is Trover's ex-roommate, and my god, this thing is so creepy. This thing has been imprisoning people, and probably for good reason. Some of the guys in these cells are really weird. Gale likes to go into details about what him and Trover used to do together, and it's pretty weird to the point where Trover pretty much denies everything. After a bit of searching and puzzles, we managed to track down both crystal power babies. We then make our way back to the Abstainers, where we connect all three of them, and the voice acting that ensues is quite clever.
Ah, that feels better. We are 3. If only we could be 4.
We also find out that the whole reason Glorkon has rebelled against the three of them is because he's found his true love. And oh my god, we are going to come back to that. We then depart the Abstainers and contact our boss, who informs us the final 2 crystal power babies are with George. When we arrive at George, we need to take some rather drastic actions to get his attention. Unfortunately, it kind of backfires.
Down, mister, or missus, I don't know what you are.
Thankfully, after we kill him, we find out that the crystal power babies are on Tech World. Upon arrival, we're immediately ambushed by Glorkon. Glorkon then reveals he has a machine which utilizes the crystal power babies to take advantage of the remaining Abstainers to combine worlds, leading to massive destruction. He also reveals that he's building a new machine to destroy 87 worlds, the last 3 Abstainers, and my 2 dogs. That son of a bitch. Glorkon then leaves us for dead on Mix World. Unfortunately, we have no way of escaping. Out of the blue, Pink Trover shows up, and we decide to steal his telepod. After we depart the planet, our boss reveals a plan. We need to take down Glorkon's main fortress, which is protected by a force field coming from Mix World. Thus, we need to blow up Mix World in order to get after Glorkon. Unfortunately, we don't have the firepower necessary to blow up Mix World. Luckily, Comedy Man has a bomb that'll do just the trick. We're also told he's extremely funny.
Comedy guy!
Dark. As we make our way back to Mix World, we learn that Trover wants to abandon our cause after we blow up the planet. He wants to go home. However, once we get halfway through Mix World, we find out that his world has been mixed in as well. There is no home for him to return to. We then destroy Mix World. We then break into Glorkon's fortress and kill dozens of clones. Unfortunately, it should be noted that we get to see a picture of Glorkon's true love, and my god, some things are not meant to be seen.
Can't really see all the dicks or any of the boobies or, the buttholes from this angle.
Or to be talked about at all. We then engage in a final battle with Glorkon. As we near our conclusion, the battle comes to a climax. Unfortunately, Trover is then killed. We are then forced to use his corpse to finally defeat Glorkon, and to put the crystal power babies into his eyes. As we succeed, we fade to white. We wake up in our living room with our 2 dogs. We've clearly succeeded. No, wait, Trover's alive. Or, no, wait, everyone's dead. We're in heaven. Well, it turns out when you combine 4 Abstainers, you actually destroy the universe. Nice job, everyone. And this brings us to the conclusion of Trover Saves the Universe. So, in summary, Trover Saves the Universe has a brilliant design. There's no other game out there that uses VR with a controller like this, and they make it work really well. The amount of content for a VR game, though, is quite high. You have over 5 hours of content here. And I felt that the plot was bang on. It's funny, it's witty, it's out there. It's very Justin Roiland. Now, there are some negatives. I have to admit, this game's not going to be for everyone. If you don't enjoy Justin Roiland's style of comedy, don't even bother. Save your money. The only other complaint that I can think of is that some of the scenes kind of drag on. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I would give the game an A. Thank you guys all for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. And lastly, but most importantly, I hope you all have a great day.
That's just the wet TV now. So anyway.